This is Anna from the Pop Prism Power Podcast, and this is the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network.
Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one too.
Quarter pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah. I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success?
Hey everyone, you're listening to Superhero Speak, and I'm your host Dave.
Everything sucks. This is John. Hi.
Everything is gross on social media. I'm JD.
As you can see, my co-hosts are definitely in a mood this week. Should make it for an interesting episode. We shall see.
I'll give you one good thing. Stargirl is kicking ass, man. That show is awesome. I'm having so much fun with that show. It's like watching Dragon Ball Z, but without all the filler. It's like all you get is the good stuff. You don't get any of the. Yeah, I know. Right. But you know, it's like it's like watching a CW show without any of the emotional filler.
Don't tell Tiffobot from Fans on Patrol, because she doesn't like the show at all.
Why?
Well,
get her on the show. Get her on the show.
All I could gather from because they do a thing called a one shot where they just watch the first episode and talk about it, and both Montego and Smoo really liked the show, and she didn't like it. And the only thing that she really seemed to say that bothered her is because she is from a small town, that she didn't feel that the small town was accurate in the show. Like,
oh, no, come on. That's even I don't nitpick that much, you know?
No, yeah, that was weird. So.
Well, you do, but that's
touche, Monsieur Pussycat.
So how was your week, John?
Well, for a week off, I worked 3 days so there's that. I think I'll be taking 3 extra paid vacation days after they expire to make up for it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't know. Things are interesting. Nothing I can really talk about on air. I have to talk to you guys afterwards. But otherwise, basically what JD said,
Is it about your sex change operation?
Oh my God.
Nothing wrong. If that's something you want to do, man, that's cool, man. I ain't gonna crap on you for it. Nothing but love.
Well, just because I'm trying to get away from the FBI doesn't mean.
That's one way to do it.
Everything. I mean, no, really, the news is horrible. Don't watch the news.
No.
And I am actually kind of sad because 2 of my favorite, my new favorite animes, what is it? Let's see, Ascendance of a Bookworm and All Roads Lead to Death, they both ended. It's this end of the anime seasons. So I'm hoping that a few of the ones that I liked last year are going to return, or it's going to have to be one of those long hard slogs through all of the new material looking for something that's worth watching.
Huh.
So that's pretty much it.
How about you, JD? Anything fun and exciting?
Twitter sucks, but I'm moving this weekend, so really excited to finally getting out of this place. New chapter getting started. I'm very, very excited about that.
Well, that's good. There you go. There's something positive in the dark. It's a light at the end of the tunnel.
New book launches Tuesday, the Tuesday of this week, which would be yesterday for people listening. So get Apex live on Amazon.
Apex. So is it still in the same series?
Oh no, this is a different series. This is more urban fantasy, superhero-y than the normal supernatural thriller stuff.
All right, so this is the book you talked about before.
Yes, I've talked about before. Now it's officially up. Reviews are pretty good. It's a little polarizing because most of the people who read my stuff, you're used to me doing like thriller things, and this is very different for me. But I don't know. The people who like it are really digging it. So I like this story. So I hope it catches some steam. We'll see what happens.
Yes, and I'm sure all our listeners are going to run out and buy it.
I hope you do.
Well, there's 15 more sales for you.
Just bought a new house.
That's right. You're not buying a book. You're supporting a Kickstarter for JD's house.
No, you're helping me pay my mortgage. Don't make jokes about Kickstarter. One of those is coming. No.
That's cool too.
Well, there you go. That's some good news, I think.
What about you, Dave?
I feel like Warren Elsa at a Trump rally. No, but anyway, a poorly attended Trump rally. How's that?
Hey,
no, I mean,
that was because of K-pop. You heard about it.
Dude, don't cross K-pop on Twitter, man.
No. We respect K-pop. Trust me.
Well, it's funny because nothing really new. I kind of so last week I had said that I had reached my one goal of 300, and then I kind of slacked off. I kind of slacked off a little bit this week. I haven't really, it's not like I gained 10 pounds or anything, but I haven't been as good as I should be, so I got to get back to that.
Don't beat yourself up. At this point, it's mostly water.
Probably.
So it'll be fine.
But they have announced that, July 3rd, Philadelphia will go green, which means the gyms will open back up. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, and hopefully. we hope that lasts. Again, that requires a lot of testing and a lot of tracing to keep up, because other states have done that, and
So we've been really good.
They're back.
Our numbers have been really good lately, so that's
The key is don't pretend the pandemic isn't still going on. If you're gonna go out, wear a mask even to the gym.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wash your hands. Adhere to social distancing when possible. So
don't go dancing in mosh pits.
Don't what? What was that?
Don't go dancing in mosh pits.
That's a good advice, just in general.
Stop even in a non-pandemic, that's a bad idea.
Yes, I left that behind in my 20s. I'm good. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, and I think I complained about dating websites last week, and one interesting thing, somebody I talked to when I first joined one of these sites, I talked to her for a few days, and then all of a sudden, and we were hitting it off, and actually talked on the phone and stuff, and then all of a sudden, I tried calling her and there was no answer, no response when I messaged her, and all of a sudden the next day she's like, oh, I met someone else, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. We were just talking. Wasn't anything special. Then all of a sudden, a couple days ago, she messages me out of the blue, and it's oh, what a mistake that was. What? You cut off all communication for a month, and now all of a sudden you want to just pop back in? No, screw you. So
this is online dating, Dave. These days that's just the way it is.
All I'm saying is women suck. At least the good ones. But anyway, so
that's no. No.
That was gross.
Dave, no.
My wife who listens to the show, I adore you and I love you.
And I love and adore JD's wife too, because it's a healthy relationship I can look at and hope for someday.
Sure.
Well, what else? What other examples do I have? Because as JD said, you look at Twitter and everything's crap.
Yeah.
Stay off of wrestling Twitter.
Speaking of Twitter, let's do a little social media madness.
We were talking about crap, so.
I don't have a lot this week. We do have a couple, though. We had talked about, of course, Wonder Woman got pushed back yet again till October of this year. And in our tweet where we, talked about it, I said, "Are you as sad as us?" And John, who's at Read Set Data, said, "Little sad but understanding." And Random Randy Savage from the Cult 45 podcast gave us a GIF. It's from Step Brothers, where what's the guy from Step Brothers? The main guy. He was in Delegated Nights, and
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, yeah, laying on the couch. Nope.
Huh.
I don't think he's sad about it being pushed back. It's, I think he's making a statement that we should all just stay on our couches a little longer.
I mean, I'm not. I get it. The last thing I want is I don't want to remember the new Wonder Woman movie because it was the day that 50 million people caught COVID because they went to go see it. I want to remember it because it's good. So, yeah.
As far as that tweet goes, good art is always open to interpretation.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he's trying to say, but I'm sure he's trying to say something.
As all artists are.
Yes, this is true. So, something we had talked about not that long ago as well, of course, is Henry Cavill is still Superman.
What is it with DC and all these casting people, all these actors, they're not being, why isn't this universe dying? Snyder put a stake in its heart and it's not dead. They're still trying to run with it.
I think
52 of them, man. There's 52 universes.
I know, but we're still in the one that's really sad and lacking most of the primary colors.
So
I don't like being in a universe that is uniformly sepia tone.
I think we'll get into this a little bit with some of the news that has come out shortly. But Random Randy Savage again gave us a GIF from the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon where Batman was disguised as Superman and Superman was disguised as Batman. What I love is that Batman takes off the Superman mask and has his cowl on underneath.
Such a great show.
Yes. Kevin Glennon said, "I genuinely like him in the part, but with the damage already done with bad scripts and storylines turning him into a vigilant wrecking ball,
yep,
and little concern for life allow him to come back to Superman with an actor reboot."
There's a lot of stuff going on in that sentence.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
Yes. No, and I understand what they're saying. How can you all of a sudden change the character? And it's well, I don't think they care about continuity anymore.
Well, they're going to do Flashpoint. So with that, they can ignore a certain amount of continuity because they can change it all at the end of that.
This is true.
Dan Kutz, who's at Hey Dan Kutz, said, "Just give him a decent script and take the dark filter off. Superman is supposed to contrast Batman, not be like him."
Yes.
He's right.
Yep.
To which Randy replied to that with a GIF from The Office of Steve Carell saying, "Thank you."
Hey, Dan Kurtz. Sorry.
Halloween Junkie, who's at Bridgeport, said, "Love him as Superman." Justin Jackson said, "He being Superman wasn't the problem for me."
I agree.
Now, Megapodtastic, who he's a friend of the show. We've crossed with him before. He's our former co-host's long lost cousin. Yeah, he's also a Fiore, but they're not actually related. It's a whole other story. He said, "It's a great news and not unexpected. I've been saying this for 2 years now. Warner DC is on a roll. Aquaman, Shazam, and Birds of Prey were all excellent."
Wow.
Wonder Woman 84 looks amazing. James Gunn is making Suicide Squad, so we know that's going to be good. And now Hank Cavill is back too. Walter Hamada has really turned things around over there.
Can we get this guy on the show? I think we just need this overall positivity.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen someone this positive about DC anything, quite frankly.
And I like DC. And
me too.
It's just like...
So, Crazy Joe, we'll extend the invitation out if you want to come on the show. Oh, God, I remember when I first met him, and I was shocked because he's like 6'2". I wasn't expecting that. But yes, so if you want to come on and talk about DC, we would love it. None of us liked Suicide Squad, but other than that, I think we agree with you.
The new Suicide Squad. We don't know anything about that one yet. And we all assume that's good, right? We all like James Gunn.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I meant Birds of Prey.
Yeah, that's that one you're right about.
It was okay.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't as bad as Suicide Squad, but it was okay.
But what is?
We also had Shadow Walker 1, who's at Shadow Walker 116, say, think he stinks as Superman and was wrong choice as Superman.
Nah, I mean, after you guys laid into me about it not being Henry Cavill, I mean, I looked at some of his other work and yeah, you're right. Like, it wasn't his fault. I mean, you can take all of the dump truck of turd that these movies were, and you can lay it right at the feet of Zack Snyder. I mean,
right.
It was all him.
And Exo Cheadle, who's at Floor Maya 81, Henry Cavill is our Superman. No one else, period. So I guess they don't like anyone else from the DCEU, but they like Henry Cavill. So,
Wonder Woman's great.
I think so.
Yeah.
Shazam is good.
Shazam was good too.
Khal Drogo has been a good Aquaman. I mean, for what they asked him to do, I think he's been fine.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I draw the line there.
I again, like John said, you gotta look at some of Cavill's other work to see that he can be charming, and the fact that they didn't let him be charming is what hurt him. So
he was more charming playing the bad guy in the last Mission Impossible movie.
This is true. This is so true. They need to add a little bit more all-star Superman to it,
Yeah.
Maybe he needed a mustache.
No.
He had a mustache.
Yeah.
They should have let him keep it.
And it got top billing for a while too.
It's true.
Well, on that, if you want to know how you can be part of social media madness, you being the listener, here's our good friend D Squared to tell you more.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllStars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
Thank you, Don. Don't forget to check out, we have a couple of new reviews from him up on our website. And don't forget to check out the D Squared podcast while you're at it. And on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, guys. So we don't have too much to talk about, but I have a feeling some of this might become interesting this week. The first one, of course, Free Comic Book Day. We had talked about Marvel moved all of their free comic book stuff to July, and now it looks like we're getting instead of Free Comic Book Day, Free Comic Book Summer. They have dates from July to September 9th of stuff that's going to be released. They're not coordinating and doing it all on the same day. They're shredding it out. So I'm kind of curious. You guys think this is going to help comic book stores more, like get people to come more often?
Well, it depends where they are too, right? Like if Philadelphia's going green, more people will be able to hit up like Amalgam Comics or something. But if you're in the Bible Belt right now, you're probably not going to be going anywhere within a week or two for the next couple months.
Yeah, I'll leave that alone. I don't know if like Free Comic Book Day works because it's like a big online campaign that can be done and it creates awareness. If it just kind of stretches out, I think it lessens the impact. Like, okay, this is going to sound weird, but if every day is Free Comic Book Day, no days are Free Comic Book Day.
No, it's apropos.
That's what I was thinking, right? Yeah, because like there's not going to be a big campaign to promote DC's free comics, and there's not going to be
there's no impetus, right? Like it's Free Comic Book Day. I have to get down. I have to plan my day to go to the comic book shop. Now it's like it's going to be like every other time. It's like it's Free Comic Book summer. I'll go tomorrow or I'll go next week. Maybe they never go. If they're as bad at planning as I am.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Like at first you're like, oh, this will help the comic book shops. But then it's like, yeah, I don't know if it's going to.
Yeah, I think the idea is there, but I just don't think it's going to work in execution.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. To be honest,
yes.
Hope I'm wrong.
Yes, we need to keep the brick and mortars open a little bit longer. So moving on, we got our first. I'm shocked that we got it this early. We got our first teaser for the Justice League Snyder Cut, released on Twitter by, of course, Snyder himself, and the clip featured Darkseid. Did you guys get a chance to watch this?
I did, and I have a problem with this.
Oh, why?
It looks awesome. But here's the problem, though. This is the problem with Zack Snyder stuff, is the man cuts an unbelievable trailer. Like, you can't. The trailer for Man of Steel is everything I want from Superman. Yet, when those scenes are put back into the movie in order, it's a nightmare.
But that's what we talked about this before, right? Snyder creates movies out of, I want this scene, and this scene. And then he puts the most flimsy crap between the two to try to tie them together, failing miserably most of the time. And what you get are the scenes that you wanted to see, but in a movie that's actually horrible.
So it's like he's really good at creating small moments. There's a handful of, in all of his movies, there's a handful of moments that work, but he can't string them together. So again, I definitely want to watch this because I'm curious, because that looked really cool. It's a cool way to do Darkseid. But I have zero faith that it's going to be any better than what we've already seen. But the trailer looked great.
So the thoughts that went through my mind, number one is all the rumors going around is that the Snyder Cut is like 3 hours long or over 3 hours long.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Right? Because you hear about a lot of the stuff that was cut out. So I have to imagine it was probably fairly long. But the other thing is you get this like feeling that, Darkseid is bigger than life. It was well done. It draws you in, but then you also hear the stories that this was the first part of a trilogy, and the movie does supposedly end on a cliffhanger, making you want the next part. So what's going to happen when we get the Snyder Cut, and if people like it?
Well, now, here's the problem. What did Snyder do to Doomsday? Do you think that he's going to characterize Darkseid the way he's supposed to be?
Oh no, of course not. Zero faith in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you look at the trailer. Darkseid's got what? A big spear. Darkseid never used a spear. Darkseid is Darkseid, the physical form of Darkseid is literally just that, a physical form of his actual God self from a different universe.
Oh, was that supposed to be Darkseid, or was that just still Steppenwolf?
I thought that was Darkseid. I mean, I don't know.
I thought the hint to Darkseid was just the little design.
No, the design still made it look like that was a helmet and not his actual head.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like it looks like a ruin or something like that she's looking at. I think the embodiment, I'm going to pull this up again. I don't think that's supposed to be Darkseid.
That was my question. I can't tell if it's supposed to be still Steppenwolf or if that was Darkseid.
Because I'm pretty sure Steppenwolf does have and did in that movie.
He did, but yeah. I don't
think Darkseid's actually in the movie. I think Darkseid is just strongly hinted. Yeah, no, I'm looking at this right now. This is Steppenwolf.
Okay.
That's Steppenwolf. Okay. Like, the Darkseid is just the design of him, which is, quite frankly, in a trailer, all you need.
Right.
Well, yeah, but still, like, even the design. But I don't have any faith in Snider to, like.
Me neither.
He's going to ruin the character. Like, the character, it's going to be another, like, I swear, like, every time you have a very well-written villain, like this, right? Darkseid is literally one of the new gods. He's cold, calculating, incredibly, unbelievably, like, astronomically intelligent. He's strategic, and he doesn't really get his hands dirty. And if he does need to fight, he fights with his Omega beams, and usually that's it, one shot to dead. So if this turns out to be another Korga, all these writers, they like to make these villains that are supposed to be thoughtful and strategic and everything. They like to we have to amp up the action, so they basically just make them all crazy and wild, and it just never works. And I know that's what Snyder's going to do. It's just going to be another Gorga from Highlander.
I mean, probably. Because he doesn't seem to understand these characters. And, like, I was talking about Watchmen with someone over the weekend, and, like, they're like, oh, the show is so much better than the movie. I'm like, well, yeah, but, like, the movie was terrible. And then I wound up having to defend Alan Moore from people, and it's just like, that's another argument.
Yeah. With yourself.
But it frustrates me because, like, he didn't get Watchmen all that much either. Like, it's always, everything is so superficial and on the surface. Like, I don't know, with Darkseid, like, there is some nuances to the character. Like, I think skipping the whole why are new gods is important. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's going to really hurt that you don't understand the balance of New Genesis and Apocalypse and why the trade had to happen. I mean, like, you lose a lot of really good content just to get to the spooky bad guy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then, see, the other thing that kind of I'm nervous about, because again, you just kind of see the drawing on the wall as we talked about. Of course, one of the biggest complaints about that movie was how CG Steppenwolf looks. Like,
oh god, yeah, the CG was stupid.
And it looked CG last time. What's the difference?
Yeah. No. But that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think they're going to go in and clean that up and make that?
With what money? Better? No, God, no.
Yeah.
They were given $30 million, I think.
That's just to finish what they got. They ain't going to do that. No way. No way they're going to make the special effects look better. I like it. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I will be very surprised.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and that's what I'm worried about, because then you're going to throw in Darkseid, and let's say he does show up, and then he looks just as bad. Then what? Just
accept what it is, man. We mean, like, anyone who's got hopes with this thing, I truly believe they're going to be heartbroken at the end of it, or they're going to love it, because Snyder's got his defenders. But I mean, like, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised by the result of this movie.
No.
Yeah, no. No.
Looking very forward to doing this watch along.
Yes. Yeah. I'm hoping we can do that.
I mean, let's put it this way: the animated version of this storyline, Justice League War, was horrible because it was actually it almost feels like it was directed by Snider, but already the movies are worse. So,
to be fair, that Jeff Johns storyline was not his best work. Like, that whole era of Justice League is not great. I wish they were keeping.
Yeah. I get that, but this is like their rendition of it as an animated movie was worse.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't a good comic. Like it wasn't a great comic. Like they were taking it from anybody. They should have taken it from Grant Morrison, but they didn't. They went with Jeff Johns, and that version of Justice League just, like I said, it just didn't click.
Mm.
Yeah.
352 sucked.
It did, and that was part of the problem. The other problem was like there were things in that movie like continuity problems like all over the place.
Wow.
But at least they did stuff like they got the mother boxes right. Zack Snyder couldn't even get a freaking mother box right. I mean, the mother boxes are used for travel. They're not like the MacGuffins. Come on.
Yeah, I did think that was weird that they were using them as the MacGuffin. Yeah, I know. And then the New 52, and of course that all kicked off with Flashpoint.
Good job.
And sometimes the older stuff is better than the newer stuff. So the internet exploded. I was trying to think, what are we going to talk about tonight? And of course,
just today, right?
The DC internet gods answered.
Thank you, gods.
Apparently, Michael Keaton, of course, the man who kicked off the new era of Batman movies back in 1989, is in talks with Warner Brothers. Now, granted, it's early talks, so we all know that it could change, to reprise the role of Batman in the upcoming Flashpoint movie. What do we think of this, guys?
Love it. I hate this movie. I hated this idea for the movie. Wasn't crazy about the comic, but I'm willing to sit through this movie and enjoy it just to have Michael Keaton back as Batman.
I think Michael Keaton's going to add to it like something that it wouldn't normally have. Like with him in it, it raises the bar, you know. And if they can get a few other people because they've got time now, and maybe they cross over again with the CW verse.
I think that'll happen, yeah.
So that's the whole thing, right? Because all we know is that he's in early talks to play Batman. We don't really know how his Batman fits in. Is he a Batman from another universe? Or, let me throw this out there, is he Thomas Wayne?
It depends on how close they want to stick to the Flashpoint story.
Yeah, because if it's Flashpoint, but then again, we do know that after he played Vulture, he could play a very mean Batman. So
his Batman wasn't exactly a nice guy to begin with.
True. But like this is what 30 years later, he could rock that.
He looks great for his age, to be honest with you. So I am super excited by this. Like I think there's a lot of potential here. I've always, like Secret Project, I've always wanted to see Michael Keaton do the Dark Knight Returns, and I'm not a huge Dark Knight Returns fan, but I've always thought that would be a perfect bookend for him as Batman if he got to do some variation on either Dark Knight Returns or Batman Beyond or something like that. So, I don't know whether he gets to play his Batman or whether he gets to play Thomas Wayne. I'm here for it.
Wasn't that universe wiped out in the CW Flashpoint though?
I have no idea.
Or that Flashpoint, the Final Crisis.
Who knows where
Crisis Infinite Universe.
Yeah, who knows where that's going to end up.
How many, at the end of that, because I didn't watch it, the whole thing, how many universes did we wind up with at the end? 52? Or
no, one. They all collapsed down to one.
No, because at the very end of that, they showed that everything was reset. So there's a whole bunch of new universes. So
52.
Well, we don't know if it was just 52 because they did show.
It'll be 52.
Was it?
That's their thing. That's the Mark 52. There's 52 universes in the DC multiverse. And
you hope they learned from the fact that 52 didn't actually work out in print. So
52 worked just fine. 52 is a great book. Countdown to Final Crisis wasn't very good.
Yeah,
right. The new 52 books weren't very good.
But Dave, they did show, like at the end, they showed the Swamp Thing and Titans. Those are two new universes. There's another universe with Doom Patrol in it, like the actual series that were on. So
I kind of felt like that was a nod to say this is why these shows can still exist.
Well, Swamp Thing doesn't exist.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, because they actually, that's another thing too, is on Flash, when they discovered the multiverse at first, it was 52 universes that they found.
Yeah, and then they found Universe X, and then they found that, hey, there's a lot more.
Right, and then, so we'll see, because as of right now on all the shows, they haven't been talking about the multiverse.
We do know one thing. We know one universe actually still exists. Universe 666.
Okay.
Because there's it hasn't been released yet, but the Netflix version of Lucifer, Series 5 is yet to be released, and now there's talks that they're going to do a Series 6. So we know that universe still exists and it's thriving. Apparently, everybody was surprised to hear about it because they had already released some of the hints for some of the scripts, and the very last script for season 5 was the final battle with Dad, and now it's like, well, it's not going to be a final battle if there's a season 6.
Huh. So let me throw this out there too. What if he is playing his 89 Batman, and this is a backdoor to bring in Batman Beyond?
I'm perfectly fine with that. If they don't do something with Michael Keaton's character having some Terry McGinnis take over for him, or at least work with him, they're missing a golden opportunity.
Yeah, I'd give that.
Okay.
That would. That would start to restore my faith in them, as long as they keep Snider as far away from the writing booth as possible.
So I think I think that is going to come down to how successful this. I don't want to call it a reboot. I don't know what you call it. This deboot on HBO Max goes.
Yeah, exactly. And then, let's put it this way. DC, it doesn't seem like they have any idea what they're doing right now.
They're all over the place, really.
Yeah, you've got Wonder Woman 84 is the only thing we know for certain. Flashpoint, obviously, being ramped up.
Isn't HBO Max doing a Green Lantern Corps show?
Are they? I've heard rumors, but I haven't seen anything solid about that.
Stand by.
While he searches. And then, but it's like, is Flashpoint going to be their way of resetting their universe again? Are they going to or is this going to be a standalone Flash story somehow, but Batman's in it now? Yeah.
But that's Flashpoint though. The Flashpoint story is Flash. If they stay true, it's Flash and Batman.
Right. True. And then we have, of course, the sparkly Batman coming out.
Oh God. Oh God. I don't know how that could go either way at this point from everything we're hearing.
So
it could go.
But that feels like it doesn't. That feels like it doesn't tie into this at all. Like it's its own thing completely. You know?
Yeah.
Green Lantern TV show is a thing.
Oh, is it official?
Yeah, halted by the COVID.
Oh, okay. So probably still going to happen, but not right now.
Yeah.
When is someone going to do the COVID show?
We are the COVID show.
Oh, okay. All right. So I don't know. This is something that we have to keep our eyes on, and yeah, everything's up in the air. And I kind of feel like that's one of the things too. Like they could have, and maybe they have taken this time off to like reevaluate everything and be like, how can we make this work again to make our fans happy? You know? And maybe that's what this Flashpoint Michael Keaton Batman thing is. We'll have to see. Speaking of old actors reprising roles and making us happy, J.K. Simmons has confirmed he will be continuing on as J. Jonah Jameson in the MCU. Apparently, in a interview on XM Radio, he confirmed that he actually has another appearance in the can already as J. Jonah Jameson, and he will be in the next Spider-Man movie.
That's because they are too afraid of him to say no.
So, well, he's an Oscar winner, so of course they want to keep him around. So here's my question: what performance could possibly be in the can that we don't know about?
Something he could have shot. He could have shot stuff for the next Spider-Man movie while he shot that insert. I don't know what he did, but I mean, that's all I can think of.
But he said like 2 projects. He said that not only something in the can. He said there's going to be at least one more movie, and everyone's assuming the one more movie is the next Spider-Man movie, because I don't even have a script for that yet. I thought. So could he be in Doctor Strange?
Oh, it's possible. I mean, that's what the that explores the universes too, because that's going to cross over with what is it, the Scarlet Witch and was it the WandaVision? So it could include that's a well done multiverse thing. So that could include anybody. We just, and they could surprise us. Hopefully they'll surprise us.
I'm hoping too. And again, it goes back to my crazy thought and my fun idea of bringing back all the Spider-Men, in a crossover. So could we have both versions of J. Jonah Jameson?
That'd be fun.
That would be really fun.
Yeah, he could have actually done some voiceover work too for the new Spider-Man cartoon movie. That's always a possibility.
That's a possibility.
Was it the Spider-Verse one?
Yeah, they just announced the next one is coming out. So
cool.
I mean, he could be in one of the Disney Plus shows as well.
Hey, might as well.
I mean, he could do anything. He's J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
Well, he's J.K. Simmons, but
he's J.K. Simmons. But if you saw
Jameson, God damn it.
Yeah. And if you saw him in Whiplash, trust me, you'll let him do whatever he wants.
damn good actor.
Oh gods, yes. There's no wonder he got an Oscar. Jeez. Can I add something here, like some breaking news?
Right.
Joel Schumacher passed away today.
That is not breaking. That happened 12 hours ago. But yes, we should mention that.
Breaking for us, I'm sure. But, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, amongst other things.
The Lost Boys is a really good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an iconic 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say, The Lost Boys was a good movie. I'm not so sure about the other two.
No, I'm going to leave that one. Respect for the Dead. Flatliners is pretty good, too.
Which one?
I like Flatliners.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
St. Elmo's Fire and Time
to Kill was pretty good. I'm not sure if I can stamp on St. Elmo's Fire.
I don't. The funny thing is, I don't really blame. I do to a point because it was his vision, but I don't totally blame Schumacher for those movies because that was Warner Brothers wanting them to ramp up the camp and make it feel more like the 60s TV show.
Of course it was.
They didn't read the room. But he did it.
Yeah, I know. He didn't fight with them. So, yeah. Apparently Jim Carrey posted a tribute to him online. So, our favorite version of the Riddler. Our only version of the Riddler, really, in live action.
Surviving.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Frank Ocean was an awesome Riddler.
Yes, I wasn't even thinking of Frank Ocean.
John Astin, not as much. Do you remember that when John Astin, Gomez Adams played the Riddler in the last season of Batman in '68?
No.
Yes, there's a reason you don't remember.
Would they wipe it from everybody's memory?
No, it's just not very good.
No, I have to look that up now. Jeez. Wow. All right. Well, Godspeed, Mr. Schumacher. Thank you for your body of work.
Talented filmmaker. He was 80. I didn't know he was that old. That's a good life.
Yeah, no. Big bucket of win, as Kevin Smith would say. So on to happier news. So you guys watched The Mandalorian, right?
Like, loved, embraced.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. This is the way.
So in the 5th episode of season 1, there was a robot, EV-9D9.
Yeah.
Do you know who voiced that robot?
I read your email, so I do, but
I didn't. I wanted to keep myself in suspense.
That's a damn lie. You never read the email.
You don't read the emails. You don't listen to the show. So
I always like to keep myself in suspense.
Apparently, the one and only Mark Hamill voiced him in that episode.
It's always amazed me how good a voice actor Mark Hamill has been.
He's had a long, storied career as a voice actor.
He is. I will say that he's one of those people that there are some characters like right away I'm like, oh, that's Mark Hamill. But there are times where it's like, if you don't tell me it's him, I don't know that it's him. Yeah.
But he was able to do the Trickster and Joker with such nuance that they both had almost the same laugh, and yet they both still sounded different enough that you could tell them apart.
True. I do think though, as he's gotten older, he has a typical villain voice now when he does them.
He does, but he's still like put nuance in it. Like not a whole lot of people. I mean, he's I don't know. He's a lot better than most out there. You know, like the guy who does the Robin voice for Teen Titans. Like he does the same voice in every single.
Yes.
Scott Melville, yeah.
Yeah, like every single one.
Yeah. So that has led me to wonder: will they have other actors come in and do voices from the Star Wars family on The Mandalorian? You know, could we get Harrison Ford to come in and voice a robot? You know, well, that would be great, don't you think?
Mark Hamill did Wolverine once, and it was really good.
I'd like to see the BB-8 thing do the Joker laugh.
Ah, there you go.
That would actually be kind of scary.
I mean, it's interesting too that like this was something that really people didn't know until it was recently revealed, you know, and a lot of people watched that show. So yeah, again, kudos to him for us not knowing. It'd be interesting to see if he comes back. So, all right. So, there's really nothing else to talk about other than, I was shocked a little bit by this. Josh Trank's Fantastic Four is now available on Disney Plus. Are we all going to go run out and watch it, guys?
No.
What? Wait, is this a... What? Oh, it's Fan4Stick. No.
Yeah, Fan4Stick.
No, it's not. Yeah, all you had to do is say Fan4Stick. No. No, it wasn't even worth watching the first time. Like, if I want to go to sleep, you know, I mean, if you turn off all the lights in the room and you play this movie, you still can't tell if there's a movie because it's so dark.
So,
I mean, it's just.
So I'm guessing, like, now we all know that it's come to light that a big reason that Disney bought Fox was to have some more a broader content for Disney Plus, right? They wanted to be able to have The Simpsons on there. Is like the greatest example of it. So of course they owned it when they bought it. So I'm kind of curious, like why did it take so long for them to put it on there? And it's not really something anyone wanted, so why'd they even bother putting it on there?
To basically say we have this many hours, like pad their hours, the hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Network engagement is important to those things. We had X amount of hours of engagement, and there are people that go, oh, I kind of want to give this a shout because it's not going to cost me any money. I'll give it a look. Oh, it sucks.
Right.
Because I thought about it.
You thought about what? Watching it?
Watching Fantastic Four. Like, I thought about it. I'm like, maybe I should check this piece of crap out.
Wait a minute. You've never seen?
Oh, God, no.
No wonder you're so happy. No wonder your life is going so well.
No, I've never seen. No, this is before I was on the show, so we never reviewed it. No, I knew it looked like shit. I had a friend that worked on it who said, "Don't not go see this movie."
Did we? Did we review it on the show?
Don't know. It was before.
I don't know. No, we did. I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
And of course, he told you not to see it. He probably didn't see it. It was it was so dark. It's like turn on a freaking light in a room. Nobody walks around like that.
I do feel bad for Josh Trank because like he really hasn't done anything since. Like he went from being one of the hot up and coming filmmakers to having like really no career.
Yes, no, that is true. Like it ruined his career. Now of course he's another one. Let's put him on the Zack Snider, David Ayers, kick that he claims the movie that got chopped up in editing because of budget restraints and whatnot. And the movie that got released really wasn't his vision.
There's a good reason for that. They take movies away from a lot of people when they suck, and then you put them in the producer's hands. Like, make a better movie, you know?
Doesn't always work, though.
No, it doesn't. But I mean, like, if you give them less of a reason, like if you're not erratic and go way over budget and show people that you cannot do this, then they won't take things away from you. You know?
True. I kind of think. So you haven't seen the movie,
no.
So this is. I mean, this would be spoilers.
No, dude, come on. This is not spoilers. You're not spoiling anything.
I also don't care.
You're only affirming his avoidance of it. So
it's weird because basically what happens is, like after they get their powers,
they do nothing.
Well, no, that's the whole thing. Is that like when you watch the movie, it kind of comes off like they do nothing for like a year. But basically what happens is Reed Richards goes off to try to find a cure for everything that's going on, and the other three basically become weapons for the military. And there's like a scene where they're sitting in front of these monitors, and you see clips of like the Thing doing something, and Johnny Storm fighting some people and whatnot. But like it's just real quick clips. Like, and a lot of people have complained like they feel that was actually the most interesting stuff that was filmed and then got pushed to the side like that. You know, like why wasn't that actually shown in the movie, you know?
Well, because it sucked.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if there's a better version of that movie out there. Because you still have the really crappy Doctor Doom in that. Ugh.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not worth continuing. Like, JD didn't miss anything.
I'm amazed he put this much time into it.
Yeah.
Though I will pose this question: did they put it on Disney Plus? And I don't know. I haven't logged in to see where they stuck it. But if they stuck it obviously in with the Marvel stuff, did they do that to try to like say, hey people, don't forget about the Fantastic Four because they're getting ready to bring them into the MCU?
Possible. Because notice they didn't put the X-Men stuff on there.
No, they haven't. Not yet.
Although I think there's probably people will be more excited when the X-Men stuff comes on, so you might as well make a big deal out of it.
True.
You know, no one gives a shit about the Fantastic Four, so.
Until they give it to somebody like Jeff Johns or, you know, somebody good at Marvel and let them just go to town on it.
It will not be Jeff Johns. I don't know. That's the thing. They've given Fantastic Four to some really good writers, and like Jonathan Hickman made his bones with the Fantastic Four. Mark Waid, Mark Miller. Like, there's been really good J.M. Straczynski. Excuse me. J.M. Straczynski. J. Michael Straczynski. I couldn't remember what the acronym goes for. But like, there's been some really good, like Dan Slott's on it now, I believe. Like they give their A team to it. But I mean, since like, gosh, John Byrne, like the Fantastic Four has always kind of struggled. Like it was always like, it should have just been a Jack Kirby creator-owned book, really. Because it was like, no one's quite hit it since then.
I think the Fantastic Four suffers from the same issue as Superman. The argument being they're, and it's worse for Superman, but again, it's the first family of comics. They're supposed to be a family dynamic, and
they're supposed to be explorers.
Explorers.
I mean, they were written in the years when like science fiction was big, and like they were more. It was less of a comic and more of one of those sci-fi things.
Yeah, it was a throwback to the books of the 30s and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure.
Right. It's also kind of a throwback to like the Lost in Space type stuff. You know,
well, it was a peer. It was a
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are like, well, the idea of a family is too, you know, wholesome. It doesn't relate to everyone nowadays. You know, like the idea of the Blue Boy Scout doesn't relate to everyone nowadays.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think we've had enough of the, the fake arguments, the fake antagonism to generate plots. I think people are ready to see a well-functioning team.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is that I think the problem isn't, and we've had this discussion about Superman. I don't think the problem is they don't work. It's just the writers and all that get them are so cynical now.
Right.
They don't, they can't look at them in that same light that cynical people did.
Yeah. Cynical or lazy.
But I think cynicism sells, especially in the direct market. Like there's a reason why the wholesome takes on superheroes has dwindled in the last 40 years, and it coincides with the rise of the direct market. Like it's just that's not the people that go to comic shops typically aren't like really looking for a light and fluffy superhero story, which the Fantastic Four works better as lighter, like we talked about, explorer fare.
But they don't have to be light and fluffy.
No, but I mean, I'm not saying they're too light and fluffy. I'm saying the typical, like they go grim and gritty with a lot of stuff because that's what sells. If all of a sudden everything wanted to be lighter, that's what they would sell. That being said, I think you get the right filmmaker attached to it, I think it could be a hit if the right filmmaker was on it.
Yeah, and again, like a good writer could take that and it does. I mean, sure, the family dynamic can be a well-functioning team. You can put them through the meat grinder. You don't have to have interpersonal problems in that family to drive a plot.
No, and they've done that. Like there's been like Mark Waid had a great run in the Fantastic Four. So did JMS. So did Jonathan Hickman. Like they've all done that. It's just it's a property the Fantastic Four doesn't connect on the direct market. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like I think the vast majority of people that have written the Fantastic Four get the Fantastic Four, but it's the Wednesday Warriors that aren't super into the Fantastic Four. That's the issue. I think that the Fantastic Four was created in an era where science fiction readers were reading comics, right? Like, because there's total science fiction characters. What's the golden age of sci-fi? 12, right?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of people that should be reading Fantastic Four. If Scholastic was releasing Fantastic Four books and putting them on Barnes and Noble, I think it could be very different than what we're getting now. Like the current state of the direct market doesn't want to support the Fantastic Four, despite people complaining when they get canceled.
No, yeah, exactly. I think you're making the most valid point.
I love when you say that. Gets me hot.
I mean, it's funny, right? Because that's the whole thing. And when you look at the origin of the Fantastic Four, again, it was Stan Lee. At this point, wanting to get out of comics, he was in his 40s, and he was planning to quit, and his wife was like, well, then just write a story the way you want to, and if you look at the stuff that influenced him, it makes perfect sense, and it works, again, as of the time.
I'm gonna go after the narrative on this just a hair, because that's the Stan Lee story. But you look at the Fantastic Four and what they were. That's Jack Kirby, and all the Fantastic Four really is it's a reboot of the Challengers of the Unknown, which is Jack Kirby. Yeah. Like I think Stan Lee wrote the story, like the character and the interplay that he wanted. But I totally think like the big because the big bombastic ideas and stuff, that's pure Kirby. And I really think the success of the Fantastic Four. Really, those early books are definitely Stan and Jack, but the later ones are totally Jack Kirby.
Right. Okay. I wasn't trying to open up a Kirby versus Lee debate on.
I wasn't trying to get into one, but we wound up one, and it's a short show this week. So what the
hell? No, and again, yes, I agree. That's the narrative, and I have to imagine, that he went in and talked it over with Kirby, like, here's my idea, and I think they probably worked on it together, but but of course, Stan being the man that he was, when he told the story later on, kind of forgot about Jack's contribution. As
is typical.
Right. Which, A lot of times writers are like that.
Yeah, we're scum.
Yes, you are. But again, yes, like you, it's a product of its time. But there's no reason it can't be slightly updated to work today.
I agree.
And that's not bringing the characters down to our level and any of that BS. It's just making it work, you know?
Here's a question that I want to pose to you guys. I've been thinking a lot about this lately. Do some properties and stories work better out of continuity? Like, not necessarily in the shared universe.
Well, isn't that the reason why Secret Wars exists? Secret Wars, isn't that the reason why, like, Secret Wars exists, where you can just, like, you know, they had stories they wanted to tell, but they didn't want to have any effect on continuity, so they just...
That's not what I mean. I mean, like...
So I think a perfect example of a story that works well, but out of continuity would probably be, you mentioned it earlier, The Dark Knight Returns, or even The Killing Joke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you go with, Killing Joke. Why is my drawing a blank?
Give me a hint. I can get
the writer.
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore's interpretation of it being the last Joker story, and that Batman actually kills the Joker at the end. Obviously, that doesn't work in continuity because the Joker didn't die. But, you know, looking at it,
folded into continuity when it probably shouldn't have been. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and I wonder too. Like, I read Shazam: The Monster Society of Evil probably about 13, 14 years ago, and it's a total kids book. Like, it's really good, but it would never fit in DC continuity. And that's another character that struggles in the direct market is Shazam. You know, so I just wonder if some properties aren't better off just kind of not having a monthly title and maybe just have like a graphic novel that exists just for bookstores.
Isn't that what DC was threatening a couple of years ago? It just turned everything into that?
Kind of, but they've kind of dragged their feet because, like, they don't want to kill the direct market. But at the same time, I just wonder if certain books and ideas would be better if they weren't slaves to continuity.
I also kind of wonder if maybe that's why they've separated from Diamond.
I think that has something to do with it too. I think we mentioned this a couple weeks ago that they're. I truly believe that they're looking to change their business model because, like, there's so much. We talk about how comics are dying, but they're only dying in bookstores. Like, at Barnes and Nobles, the most surviving Barnes and Nobles. Like, at the bookstore market, like, kids comics are doing well. You know,
right? And I think. Take it a step further, Amazon, right? If people want to buy books on there, they're not going to get a monthly subscription on Amazon, but they are going to jump on there and get maybe a couple issues here and there of standalone stories or a collected graphic novel here and a graphic novel there.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of gone from being a Wednesday warrior to not being able to really afford it anymore. And there's, like, stuff that I really still want to read, but it's just, you know, like I said, I've always said if Comixology Unlimited was more like Kindle Unlimited, where I could just get a bunch of stories and not have to just wait and not have to play the game, I would be all for that.
Yeah.
But it's just not, it doesn't quite work in comics. Like, I think the entire business needs kind of a refresh, you know?
No, I agree. 'Cause, I mean, let's take it a step further, right? And I totally agree with the idea when it was first presented of, like, getting rid of continuity and just having standalone books. Like, as the average fan, I was like, oh, that's horrible, blah blah. But I'm like, no, like, that leaves them freedom to write good standalone books, and they don't have to worry about, well, this happened in issue 227, so this can't happen in issue 443. You know, and it's like, yeah.
It would make it easier to write some of those storylines, too.
For sure. Then you don't need to be the continuity cop and having you fall into the little section. DC's so bad at it anyway, with having to reboot their continuity every few years. Sometimes I feel like they'd be better off if they just did standalone stories. And if you want to do this big overarching story with 100 different characters, go for it.
And I think you can liken it to the movie universes. You know, DC's so screwed up right now that all they have, and they've said they're going to just concentrate on good standalone movies. And that's all they really have, right? Like, don't worry about trying to connect them. Just give us a good Flash movie, give us a good Batman movie, give us a good Wonder Woman movie, and maybe we'll be happy. Where you get to, like, the MCU, yeah, we had 11 years of fantastic movies, but now, like, the actors are like, oh, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
That is the backside of it, is now you have to lean into the legacy a little bit more. And are people going to be as excited to go watch I don't know. I was just going to say Miss Marvel, but I don't want to pick on, because she's a good character. I don't want to pick on her. But I mean, realistically, is Miss Marvel going to be, or Captain Marvel going to be a good replacement for Captain America? Like, they don't have the draw power.
Right.
You know, if it's DC, they're just going to restart that stuff all over again.
Right, exactly. Where, like, Marvel isn't going to say, okay, good, we did a cap on it with Endgame. Let's just end it there and start all fresh. You know, like, no, they're continuing on right now. So.
But that's the thing. You've got the investment of the fans, and that's going to drive a lot more ticket sales than, you know, even just a good storyline.
I don't know. I mean, Batman's never had a problem selling tickets.
And we should look at...
but wouldn't it have sold a lot more tickets if he had been part of a major DC universe that was doing as well as the Marvel universe?
Maybe.
Maybe. Know.
Batman movies you can't. Any Batman standalone movie has made money. Batman and Robin made money. Like, Batman has such a built-in fan base that people are going to go see a Batman movie. This Robert Pattinson movie, it could suck, but it's still going to make a lot of money. It's going to make more than Ant-Man, you know, no matter what. And even the first few Marvel movies, they didn't make a lot of money. Iron Man did, but like Thor and even Captain America didn't. They're very rare examples of where sequels to films outgross their predecessors, and that does not happen a lot in filmmaking.
But that is the vestment of the fan base.
Oh, I agree with that.
When you have an overarching continuity that fits together and you get them excited for the next movie.
But there's a ticking clock on that, and that's what Dave was saying. It's like, because, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is done. Chris Evans is done. How much longer is Chris Hemsworth going to want to do this? You know? And now that you've tied your characters so closely to these actors, now what do you do?
Right. And
it's funny. Yeah, Flashpoint.
That's what I'm saying.
Funny.
Like, it's easier.
You made another interesting point. You know, because you said, is Captain Marvel going to be a good replacement for Captain America, right? Or did you say Iron Man?
I said that. I said Captain America.
You said Captain America. Technically, Sam Wilson or Falcon is supposed to be the replacement for Captain America.
Well, yeah, but he's not even getting a movie. You know what I'm saying? And
right, exactly.
Those are unfair. Like, they're even unfair in comics, and they work better in comics because you know the John Byrne, the illusion of change. You know Steve Rogers is eventually going to come back. Like, you always have some nerd fans that are convinced, no, man, this is it this time. But, I mean, come on, man. That's not how this stuff works.
Right.
But in a movie, that's exactly how it works. Like, we're not getting Robert Downey. Like, we're not getting a new Iron Man movie with Robert Downey Jr., who's dang near 60 anyway.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, he's done.
Yeah, I mean, this is so now. If you want more Iron Man movies, there's two ways to go about it. You can go make like a War Machine movie with Don Cheadle, who's also getting older, or just go, okay, let's make Ironheart. But you don't have there isn't the investment in the character. Like, the property isn't as strong.
It's like Deadpool said when he put together X-Force. We need a bunch of people that can carry a franchise 6 to 10 years in the future.
That's so true, though. So this is why I think DC freaks out that they're not Marvel. And it's like, I do think they're starting to figure out that, hey, we're different. Let's be different. I don't know if they figured it out yet, but it kind of excites me that they're not trying to fit into these little, like, well, this is him and this is this and this is this. Like, yes, we could have Michael Keaton show up in the Flashpoint movie, but Robert Pattinson's still going to be Batman. There's 10 Batmans. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and just to let you know, like, I don't know, I can't remember if we talked about this or not, but Justice League Dark Apocalypse War is kind of in this field of, you know, they did a really, really good movie, animated, but a really good movie on, you know, what happens when Darkseid wins. And at the end, and this is spoilers, so like close your ears for a second. At the end, they wipe it away because they, John Constantine turns to the Flash and says, "Go redo it." Tells him to go create another Flashpoint to wipe it all. And I think that's what they're going to do.
They can. I mean, it fits in and it lets them do more. Again, like this Marvel Studios thing was really working in 2013. But like part of me now is like, boy, are we reaching the end of that? You know? Like I think that I do wonder if now we start getting to the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, if Marvel keeps pulling magic out of their butts, so
they do, but you lose Robert Downey Jr. and there's only, again, they have a ton of stuff they can pull from. But how do you make, and we talked about this before, I mentioned, how do you, like, do things work better in continuity? How are we going to have mutants in the MCU?
Right. Well, see, WandaVision.
But I mean, the idea of mutants doesn't make sense. They already have they have a god walking around. Like, they've seen people with superpowers. And they've been largely accepting to it. Now all of a sudden, this group of people that's always had like some type of strange abilities or forms or whatever are going to be hunted and shunned. Like it doesn't. Yeah. I'm having a hard time like processing how they're going to make this work.
That was always a problem with Marvel Comics.
Oh, I agree. But again, you can read the X-Men. You can just read X-Men and largely just read X-Men and not really worry about what's going on with the rest of the Marvel universe for large stretches of time. Same with the Avengers. Like, there's always going to stuff crosses over eventually, but you don't need to. Again, the best Avenger or X-Men stories had nothing to do with the Marvel universe.
The only thing that you have, but again, like, you have to build it up and make it make sense, is with the mutants, is you have the Brotherhood of Mutants and the Hellfire Club. So you can, like, you've got bad mutants doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where the distrust and hate for mutants come from. But you're right. It doesn't really make sense in this universe.
You know, like, why is this something no one's mentioned before?
Right.
Like, did they all disappear during the blip? Like I said, there's just, and again, like, I know they're thinking about this. I know I'm not unique and like, I thought of something nobody else thought of before. But I just don't know how, especially with the Claremontisms on what mutants became, how do you make that work in a world where we have Thor?
Yeah. It's like, we hate people with powers. Thor, you're wonderful.
Yeah, it just, I can't, or Hulk. Like, everybody loves Hulk now. Like, I can't figure it out.
Does everyone love Hulk?
I think they had 5 years where he wasn't causing problems and he was doing selfies and stuff like that with kids on the street.
Oh, that's right, because now we have Professor Hulk. I wasn't thinking.
The Professor, which we show our age by calling him the Professor, but I'm going with it.
Oh.
That's the 90s Hulk. That's my favorite Hulk. I'm glad we have this Hulk, but it's a different Hulk.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. I mean, like, part of me is like, you know, we don't know much about the future of the Marvel Universe. It's really going to depend on how people take to these Disney series, because they're really experimenting.
They are.
Okay, we've beaten this.
I like talking about this kind of stuff. It's like the theoreticals of why these things work. It's interesting to me.
Well, you know, John doesn't understand theory. So, before we wrap it up for the week, do you guys have any recommendations for our audience? JD?
Did I mention Boomerang before? We got Boomerang for the kid, and he's super into Scooby-Doo. And what I like about my 4-year-old is he's compartmentalized the different versions of Scooby-Doo. He does. Like, he completely understands that this Scooby-Doo does this, and the pup named Scooby-Doo is this, and the Scooby-Doo movie is, like, he understands it. Or like the Ninja Turtles. He talks about how, there's the Turtles Counting Off Turtles, which is the one from the early 90s, and there's Mommy and Daddy's Turtles, which is the 90s ones, and, like, you know, like, he gets it. He gets that there's totally different versions of characters, which is impressive for a 4-year-old. Long, roundabout way of saying, Boomerang has a lot of great cartoons. Watch Scooby-Doo.
How does he feel about Scrappy-Doo?
He's okay with it. He's accepted Scrappy-Doo because he never knew a world without Scrappy. I was the same way. I'm young enough where I did not grow up without Scrappy-Doo, so Scrappy-Doo was something I always accepted as part of the series.
Oh, you're dead to me.
It's the age difference, man.
How about you, John? Do you like Scrappy Doo? And do you have any recommendations for the audience?
No, I think he's an abomination. He should be wiped off the face of the planet. But
I really believe you feel that way too.
I actually do.
I know. There's no doubt in my mind. I didn't chuckle my kip. That's John's thoughts.
You noticed there was no hesitation.
No, it's not even a hint.
While I was mining the deeper end of YouTube, I found this one channel called Because Science. He's from the Nerdist, a guy named Kyle Hill, who's like a math nerd, and he does videos, stuff like why you wouldn't want super strength or why super speed would probably wind up killing you, and all this stuff that basically revolves around some superhero things. He does other videos too, but it's the superhero related ones are pretty cool. So, if you want to know why you wouldn't want to be invulnerable, he's got like the physics to back it up.
Welcome to 5 years ago, John. Yes, because I've seen a lot of those videos. He has one where he explains how much energy it would take for the Death Star to actually destroy a planet.
Yeah, he mentioned that in one where he was talking about One Punch Man, how powerful One Punch Man series punches. So, yeah.
All right. So if you're like John and you're behind the times, go check out Because
Not behind the times. He's making these videos only came out like a month ago, some of them.
Hey, I recommend a 50-year-old cartoon show.
Yeah.
Oh, this is true.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I would recommend, as always, don't forget to go check out superheroespeak.com, where you can find the show every week, plus reviews from our good friend D Square. There's actually a couple new ones up right now that you should go check out. One is for the Star Wars Clone Wars, new book that just came out, and so go check those out. Also, I would recommend, if you don't like yourself, go watch the Fantastic Four stick on Disney Plus. Other than that, I got nothing. I haven't watched anything new this week.
Yeah, like I said, Stargirl's still kicking ass, and I mentioned before, Justice League Apocalypse War, well worth the price.
You're like the third person that said that, so maybe I will check that one out. So, all right. On that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for listening, and don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.